This is question number 1 on geometry homework number 8. The question says, what is the midpoint of negative 3, 5 and 1 comma negative 9? Now it might be tempting to think, oh, I dealt with points in class today, so I'm just going to use that same formula. But you've got to read this question carefully because it's asking for midpoint. We did distance today in class, so this is actually a review question. So you're going to make sure that you have your notes for lesson number 7, calculating the midpoint between 2 points. And if we look at what the question is asking for, it's saying, what is the midpoint? So on the back, there's missing midpoint problem examples and missing endpoint problem examples. Since it's asking for the midpoint, we are missing the midpoint, which means we're going to follow these examples. So if we review our notes here, we see that it says that we need to label negative 1, 3 as x1, y1, and then 2, 7 as x2, y2 because we have those two endpoints. Then we're going to use this formula here. So we're going to add our x's together, divide by 2, add our y's together, divide by 2, then just solve, and we get our midpoint. Then we would make our graph here and then kind of just estimate to make sure whatever we got seems legitimate. So let's go ahead and label. I'll label this one x1, y1 and x2, y2. And then our formula is going to be x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. And you may have noticed we're not using xm anywhere. That's because we don't have the midpoint. If it gave us the midpoint, then we would use it, but we don't have the midpoint in this part. So then we would just fill in our numbers. Our x1 value is going to be negative 3. Our x2 value is going to be 1 divided by 2. Our y1 value is going to be 5. And our y2 value is going to be negative 9. So negative 3 plus 1 is going to be negative 2 over 2. 5 plus negative 9, that's the same as saying 5 minus 9. So if we have 5 and we take 9 away, we're going to end up with negative 4. And if you weren't quite sure of that, you can do it on your calculator. A negative divided by a positive is going to make a negative, and 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. Then we have negative divided by positive is going to be negative again, and 4 divided by 2 would be 2. So let's actually graph that out and see if we're close. So if that's my graph here, this one has a 9 in it, so we've got to make our points kind of small. I'm going to do this one first. So 1 comma negative 9 would be 1. Let's say this is about negative 9 right there. And then negative 3, 5. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seems like that would probably be where it is. So those are our two endpoints, and then our midpoint is negative 1, negative 2. So negative 1 down 2. That seems like it's right about in the middle. So that is our midpoint.